Welcome to the East Coast Red and Gold podcast. I'm Niners Jess. Ty Austin will be joining us shortly. We got Maddie B, and your girl Bex was there.
She's
There she
returned.
is.
She's
All
I
right.
returned from my quest.
She had to.
All
She had to
right.
get her candlestick dirt so that we could.
I
kinda
did. I
get
had to
going
run
on
upstairs
this.
and get it.
It's amazing.
We did not have it to shake last week, so
Can we
did.
just start this whole thing off with like really
A
getting the schedule out? Like I'm the seance, a Ouija board. Like
Well,
let's
you
call.
know what? We should have done the sage. That's what we should have done.
Seriously,
should've
can we
learned
call
some sage.
Steve? Can we call Steve, the sage man? Like let's
Sage
let's
guy.
reach out
It's the guy.
and just be like, like Steve, like let's get this wrapped up. Because seriously, let's do it around anybody who has ever played special teams for the 49ers that's still living. Like I am not sure at this point.
The
I have
defense
had it.
needs a purge too. I mean, come on.
Oh, or they need a fast. They need like
A deep
70.
cleanse, yes.
They need like a 72-hour fast. I'm not talking
Juice
like one of those juice
cleanse
things
for
or anything
everyone.
like that. No, just straight up black coffee, tea, water, 3 days. Come back leaner and meaner. The offense needs an absolute exorcism, especially in the red zone. And
The red
the
zone,
special-
yeah.
What the actual hell is going on in the red zone? Why are we not running the ball? There's so many things. So many things. I can't even begin. I'm
And we will
ripped.
talk all about it because tonight is a really good therapy session. It
Clearly.
is Wednesday, which means we are on. It's October 9th. Happy birthday, George Kittle.
Georgie.
And we will get to all of 49ers stuff. But first, we are brought to you by Faithful Gear, made for the faithful by the faithful. Get yours at faithfulgear209.com and tell Robert that we sent you. And my George Kittle shirt was actually made by Faithful Gear. All right. So let's do some injuries first, because I like to start off with injuries. Jordan Elliott, Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles, Talanoa Hufanga, Jake Moody are out. Questionable, Chris Conley, Charvarius Ward. Ricky Pearsall's window was not opened up this week because it's a short week and they were only doing walkthroughs. So it was kind of pointless to open the window this week, but I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that. But I guess CMC, they're continuing to ramp up. Jake Moody has the high ankle sprain. Why he was making a tackle.
Ooh. Can I answer, teacher?
Yes,
Teacher?
go ahead, Maddie. Go ahead.
Because Brian Schneider still has a job. That's why. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so with
That was a trick question.
Yeah, I thought.
however,
so.
They put Talanoa Hufanga on IR, right? But they
Yeah.
didn't put Jake Moody on IR, which I think is pretty interesting.
That is very interesting because of the high ankle sprain. Those are usually weeks. Having had one in my life, I can remember it took even like 3 months later to stand on my feet at work for hours. My ankle would blow up. And I'm like, it really still is happening? Like you just couldn't stand on it. And it's just wild to think that they didn't do something already. That we haven't signed a backup kicker.
We have.
Did we? I missed it.
We signed his name is Matthew Wright, and he was with us, I believe, either last season or for the 2022 season.
Okay, I totally missed that. It's
yes,
busy with homework and
so he's all set, ready to go, and he's pretty much the NFL journeyman from team to team.
Yeah, he's been with Detroit for a bit.
Okay. Yeah. No, I recognize the name.
He's competent, right? Like he's better than, say, I don't know, not having a backup kicker.
Not having a kicker and not kicking field goals because you don't have a qualified kicker on the field and having to go for it on fourth down and coming up with goose eggs. But
shout out Mitch Wishnowsky.
I mean, shout out Mitch Wishnowsky, but he's not making a 45-yard field goal. The 20-something one, he was.
The whole 4th and 23 thing.
Yeah.
I would have liked to seen if he would have made it.
Yeah. I mean, I also was like, what's the worst thing that can happen? We're turning it over on downs anyway. Or
Right, exactly. But if he made it, that would have meant all the difference in the world.
It would have been it. Exactly. But he might know his limit too, and maybe knows that was well out of his range. So why take a shot that has a high failure percentage? So I don't know. I don't know what Mitch Wishnowski's field goal kicking abilities and limits are, but yeah, that was one of those moments where you're just like, this is going downhill fast. A little vomit in my mouth right now. Yeah.
Yes, it was. The pass to George Kittle was basically a punt.
It was entirely.
Yes. All right. So in sticking with the thumbnail, what is going on? Maddie, your thoughts. Are the 49ers broken?
The usual.
Can this be corrected?
Of course it can be corrected, but this is just the usual, more often than not, under Kyle. This is the crazy shit that happens in the first few weeks of the season. Outside of 2019 and last year, there's usually some sort of just BS that happens. Open the season with a loss in 2021 to Chicago. Chicago guys.
Yeah.
Come on, in a monsoon.
And they were a terrible Chicago team.
And then there was the home loss to Indianapolis. Again, in a monsoon, right? And then you've got this weird, last week it was a carbon copy of the 1988 matchup in Tempe, 24-23, same score. 49ers were up late, plenty, should have won it. Couple of stupid mistakes. That's it. Right now, they're not good enough to overcome stupid mistakes. That level that they were at, they are not at right now. So when they do screw up, and they screw up one phase of the game every single week right now, at least one, because guaranteed special teams at least once a week. Shout out for the return, but other than that, hi. How we doing on everything else? Not great, Bob.
Not great on either side.
So far, that's the only thing that's been consistent this year has been the special teams is going to do something negative to cost this team. And right now, there's just not enough. There's not enough in the margins right now to cover up some of the stuff that's going on. So coaches, players, everybody has to get down to it. Injuries are wonderful, but at the end of the day, everybody has them. The Jordan Elliott injury, I think, is probably the worst one of all of them because he was the guy that I think stood to probably play the most with Hargrave out. Now with him down, it's like, okay, well, Evan Anderson, yay! At this point,
who else do we have?
Tim or T.Y. McGill, man, that's where we're at now. And I don't know what Talanoa Hufanga did. I don't know if it was from posing with a photo with me last year. Has cursed him. I'm not sure what has happened, but he went from second team All-Pro to second time on
IR and one.
Well, a second time he was previous on PUP and now he's on IR. I don't know how that triple crown works, but that's not two things you're going to want in a season. So, especially going into free agency, right? So
yeah, I mean, he tore his ACL. He came back. He rolled his ankle. And now he has torn ligaments in his wrist.
Yep.
It's like the triple whammy. Come on.
But luckily, I'm glad that Juwan Jennings is okay.
Yeah.
Shake the dirt. Yes. All right, Becca. So what is going on? Are the Niners broken? Is this correctable? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think everything's correctable, but I do think there's definitely some disconnect. You have Brandon Ayuk with 140 some yards catching, right? What was his receiving yards? 140, 150, somewhere in that neck of the woods.
Yeah.
He had a great game. Juwan Jennings had a great game. George Kittle had a great game. Jordan Mason had a decent game.
until the fumble.
And well, yes, of course. I mean, like we had 3 turnovers, so that's a problem. The tackling, the lack of effort to stop the run, to tackle, I mean, to protect Brock Purdy. That boy scrambled more than a chef at a diner on a Sunday with eggs, like he was on the run every Colt McKivitz. It was 3rd and goal, and who made the least amount of effort to try and stop the defender guy from getting to Brock Purdy? I was like, Colt, can you at least pretend like you're jogging? Come on. Like, make it stop. It just was so abysmal. So I don't know. We've got to clean up tackling. The turnovers, penalties, all those things have to get cleaned up. And surely the more you play, the better execution should get. And hopefully that's the case. We can't afford, we talked about it last week, we can't afford losses in the division like we're piling up already. It's not going to go well at the end of the season. We'll be lucky to find us in a wild card at best. And that's not where you want to be. It's just not. But I mean, certainly we've had slow starts. Matt can probably give you every statistic you want on every slow start we've ever had. But for crying out loud, they've got to execute better. And, the injury bug is really, really a problem. Not having Jake Moody to kick field goals is a problem. Even though he's up and down on his own, he's got a better shot at making a 40-yard field goal over Mitch Wishnowsky. Wish he's not going to make some of these. That Moody certainly will and should. And so, it's a detriment. It's a definite problem. It's a big negative. But to me, not stopping the run in the fourth quarter, we had the time of possession window like so heavily in our favor through at least halftime. I don't know. I was looking at it like at some point in the third quarter. We were dominating the clock and the possession. Their defense should have been so gassed by the fourth quarter. And somehow we magically let them come back and run the ball all over us. And it just blows my mind that we let them do that to us. Crazy.
Well, on top of the missed tackles, which I think was close to about 14 missed tackles.
1,400, yes.
It seemed like it was that much. We also scored no points in the second half.
The whole second half.
Which is a huge problem.
Yeah.
We have no problems moving the ball down the field, but as soon as we get into the red zone, it's like we forget what to do. And that can't happen. We're 0-2 in the division. We're 0-3 in the conference. We have a game tomorrow night against Seattle, up in Seattle. Tough place to play. Brock is 3-0 against the Seahawks.
Cough, cough.
What's that?
I said cough, cough.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Since Jimmy G's last gong show up there, getting the pass batted down at the line, 49ers are 3-0 up there.
Is tomorrow a must-win game, Maddie?
Yes. You cannot start off the year 0-3 in your division and 0-4 in the NFC. Like that doesn't work. You win no tiebreakers. You lose, go home, right? You can combine the post-credit scene of Ferris Bueller with the scene from Willy Wonka where he tells them to get out, okay? And that's exactly what you can then tell this team because that's exactly what they're going to need to do at that point. Period. Look at this schedule coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like seriously, if they don't, this is all fun and cute. Oh, haha, they blew some leads. Okay. Thank you so much again for the PTSD from the 2021 NFC title game. I really needed that in my life right now. Thank you. Also, again, needed that flashback to '88 in Phoenix, the game where Bill Walsh broke his ribs. Like all of it. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And there's no need of it. There's absolutely no need of it whatsoever.
But in '88, those 49ers won the Super Bowl.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. And it took them a long time to get it going, guys. So, don't don't think this is going to be like, oh, they'll come back out this week and everything will be great. The next week they came out and they lost 9-6 to the Raiders at home. Pretty sure that was the 4:00 game on national TV that week too.
According to John Lynch, tomorrow is not a must-win game because must-win.
Can't say that.
Why can't he say that? I would say it.
He can't publicly say it's a must-win game like that, because if they come out and lose it, like, holy mother of pearl, they've got no way to go.
The scrutiny. It amplifies the negative voice. Yep. I think.
Okay.
He's
all right.
I guarantee you, in his head, Jess, I promise you, in his head, he knows they have to win. They have to leave there tomorrow night, even if they win by 1 point.
Yeah.
So.
I would agree. I mean, that really puts you in a bind in the division, because as we always say, the road to the playoffs runs through your division. If you win your division, you're in. You start losing to your division opponents, it gets real hard at the end of the season to get yourself in the playoffs.
Raise your hand if you're excited.
Red zone issues will keep anybody in the game.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you're excited for a street kicker to get his first start on the road in Seattle. When your team can't get it done in the red zone.
I actually have all the confidence in the world in Matthew Wright, because I'm just going to speak that into existence.
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
He's going to do well. And look, I'm bringing Sparty. Someone mentioned the voodoo dolls. The other one's across the room, so I'll get the other voodoo doll.
Yes, I have my
positive
is hanging up as well. I had him out every single time that we were on defense. I was shaking it and
go Sparty.
Yeah.
I have another one, the one that I had in New Orleans, and so reading up on some voodoo, like you can do positive things too. So I was like pushing the pin in the heart, like where you want them to have, and saying positive affirmations, like play with heart, all heart, let's go, guys. Play smart football, in the head.
Well, you let me know how that works out.
Yeah, so I'm gonna work that out tomorrow. We're gonna use we're gonna pull him out of the dust closet over here.
Do one for Brian Schneider.
Yeah.
Do one for him.
That might have to go in the gut.
We turn a light. What if we hook a light bulb up to the top of it, right? So that maybe the voodoo doll of Brian Schneider has an idea.
And I'll poke the pin in the head for Brian.
Or what? I don't know how it works. Like however that works, like whatever needs to happen. Let's make it. I don't know. Let's go. I just want 1 week where I don't have to worry about the special teams crapping their pants on television. That's really what I want. I just want 1 week where this special teams doesn't do something stupid.
That we need to put Kyle Juszczyk back there to be our guy.
I really want the 49ers to punch it in and score a touchdown.
Well, that's a whole
on a consistent basis.
Does this team what is their identity?
Yeah.
What do they propose to be? Because I'm always told that their identity is running the ball and tough defense. Well, where's running the ball? Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure Mason had
89
7 yards a carry or something on 14 carries.
Yeah.
Kyle was too pass happy.
Are we? What? Yes. What is this? I love Brock as much as anybody in America, but bro, you've made your point. He's really good. Okay. He should not have to do it all. This is not 1986 John Elway. This dude is not hey, I've got to run this whole. No. This whole thing is supposed to be based off of the fact that there is a running game in place for him to utilize.
You don't carry a fullback on the team unless you plan to run the ball.
And thank you. And then we just stop running the ball inside the 20. George Kittle doesn't get enough targets inside the 20. We're not creative enough in getting Deebo Samuel the ball in space. Brandon Ayuk finally showed up this week.
Deebo had 1 catch for 11 yards. That is ridiculous.
It used to be so creative to get Deebo the ball. Well, now we don't have Christian. All I ever heard for an excuse after Christian McCaffrey came back was, we do keep the ball to Deebo anymore because Christian McCaffrey has Chris McCaffrey has been here for the entire season.
Right.
I've seen no increase in Debo's usage. What are we paying him so much for to not use him? Is he a window decoration? Like, is he a leg lamp? Like, what are we doing? Friggin' get him the ball.
David, I agree
Run
with
the
you.
ball with him.
And go back to dink and dunk. There's
The
no
dink and dunk,
no
the
issue
short
with the dink
yardage
and
over
dunk.
the middle.
Yes, it does.
They have the ability to throw it deep off of that now, so it would be so much more effective. Instead, they're just going to this passing game where they've just got to go 15, 18, 24 yards in the league. That's not how the league's doing it this year. Like, run the damn. This is it. The league is perfectly set up for what this team wants to do and what their proposed strengths are to bull rush their way back to the Super Bowl again by running the ball, playing tough defense, and not turning the ball over with your passing game. Instead, you've got batted passes in the air, Jordan Mason not touching the ball, and a defense that gets gassed in the fourth quarter because they're not running the ball enough to sustain drives long enough to keep the defense off the field.
I mean,
35 times a game.
Until the third quarter, the time of possession was way tilted in our favor. It was stupid.
And then the switch flips. It's like, oh, we gotta
so rested, which is crazy to me.
It's like they're looking for a knockout punch instead of just like understanding that you've already ground them down to a halt. Like literally, you just have to hang on for a few more minutes and this game is over. Right. Instead, it's like, oh, we're looking for this thing. And then Jordan Mason fumbles. And he's fumbling going backwards, for God's sakes. Like, get down. You're not getting out of that. Eat it. Move on.
Well, that was actually, and that was a missed block by Trent Williams,
who has looked absolutely not great this year, gang. Like that's another thing too. Trent Williams and the special teams must be going out to dinner because every week there's one thing that one of them does, and it used to be that you would never notice Trent Williams. So tell me all about how the holdouts don't affect anything, please.
Right.
I'll sit back and hang out about it.
They most certainly do. And
look, if the Nick Bosa thing didn't prove that point last year, I quit. Like, because nobody is in better shape off the field, anyone than a Nick or a Joey Bosa in the offseason. And if Nick Bosa said, yeah, I didn't really feel like myself until about, after the bye week,
whatever,
that is it. That's all you need to know. So all this other stuff needs to stop. Instead, it was actually amplified this year. So on top of that, everybody got a marketing contract and a commercial deal and is hosting a podcast, and no one's won a damn thing. So I think that might have a few things to do with it too.
All right. So I'm all about Brock extending plays. I think he's really good at it.
Yep.
But at
should
some
he have
point,
to do it all the time?
But at some point, you really have to get rid of the ball.
Yes.
I mean, the scrambling, what drives me crazy and gets me nervous is when he starts to go backwards out of the pocket.
Yeah. It's not college. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're not turning that into a touchdown.
Like we were in the red zone and he just literally kept going back and back and back. And I'm like, oh my God. Like I'm grateful that he could extend plays because we haven't seen that in a very long time. Yeah. And it's definitely needed, if a play, if the pocket breaks down, whatever.
Once in a while.
Right. But get rid of the ball.
But yes. Are you talking about the 3rd and goal play?
Yes.
Colton McKivitz literally hardly walks over. And I was like, could you actually put some hustle behind that? Like you could have
had a hemorrhoid or something. Nobody walks that slowly.
Interfered with the dude who's now going to run Brock to the sideline and he's going to chuck it out of bounds. And I'm like, no, he was just awful watching that.
At least McGlinchey blocked air. You know what I mean? And kind of looked like he was doing something.
He's like, who's supposed to be here? This guy's just like, I almost had him, like chasing the dollar bill in the commercial. Like, you almost had it. Come on.
Not this time.
Jesus, act like you care about your job, please.
You know, it's really.
Who are they going to replace him with? That's the thing. He knows. What are they going to do?
You know
Who are they
what? I
sliding at right tackle?
I thought John Feliciano was supposed to come back.
Oh
thought
yeah,
he was-
I'm sure he's
I thought he was on IR for. I thought he was due to come back like now.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. And so far, I've heard not nary a peep on John Feliciano. So expect anybody back until week 11 at this point. So
No, you in that week 11.
Well, I
And I
figured
don't- and I
he
don't-
will come back after the bye.
And I have said it out loud multiple times this week. I don't expect CMC back at all this season. So if he does come back, then hallelujah. Thank you. But
I
I'm
think
not
he'll be
counting on
back.
it. Okay.
After
Because
the
you know
bye
what?
week.
I'm gonna speak that into existence. You're
Good.
all about week 11 and he's not coming back. Yes, please shake the dirt.
After the bye week is when I
Look.
think that's the rest. Like they're
The Madden
loading
curse
him up
has one
now,
loss,
so-
guys. Okay. That's all I'm going to tell you. The Madden curse has one loss. So if he can come back and nail this one, then he earned it.
What
Ted
I'm doing?
Alston, how are you?
Hey,
Good. How you guys doing?
Oh, we were
Well,
just
that's good.
Maddie was just kind of saying about week 11 and how he
about
doesn't
our
think CMC
predictions
is
for
going to come
when
back
the
this
injury-
year.
I don't expect him at all. I don't expect him at all. That way, when he does come back, I don't have to be, I can be excited and not like
disappointed.
let myself down. Yeah. Like,
And I say after the bye week. That's my vote.
so that's week 11. So
Is that week 11?
that's week 11. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's the week then I think everybody's coming back. All the people that are like slow rolling through injury, they'll all be back after the bye.
Oh, isn't it week 10?
I
What's
thought our
week
bye
11?
week is. I thought
No,
our
it's
bye
week
week
10
was
because our
9.
bye is week 9.
Week
Yeah,
nine,
that's
yeah.
Week
why
10.
I was
All right,
okay.
perfect.
Yeah.
So is that the Tampa game? Tampa is week 10. Am I
Yes,
yesing
I
on
believe
that?
so.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
No clue.
Also, shout out to Tampa. Stay strong. We want you to
Yeah.
be there. So when we come down to visit in November, like you're still there. So
Yes,
stay
please.
They're
safe.
still
stay
staying
strong.
playing.
Stay
My
like
cousin has a hair
above
salon
water.
there, and her lives there, and they're all inland. And she posted pictures of boarding up her salon and putting everything up on as high up off the floor. And I'm like, oh, poor
Boy,
thing.
it's rough.
Yeah, we have a cousin down there, and they have the tornadoes going through, and it literally demolished their police station.
It's
Yeesh.
insane how much is happening. Yeah. Friends in Fort Myers, they're just everywhere in Florida. So yeah, lots of love going out to those guys.
All right, so Ty, I know you're just coming in, but earlier I had asked, in sticking with the thumbnail, what is going on? Are the Niners broken? Are the Niners broken? Is this thing correctable? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was listening a little bit, and I agree with what Matt said. It's typical early season 49ers shenanigans. It's par for the course. If you pay attention to this regime, it's what happens. Don't know why. Can't place it. It's the same cast of characters every year. Maybe that's the problem. It's the same cast of characters, so they do the same thing every year. But they lose games they should win, shoot themselves in the foot, don't execute in some way, some shape or form. And then they get to a point where they normally get pissed off at themselves and they're like, okay, enough. And then they start playing well, which gives us all stress and heartache, but it's all par for the course. So it's definitely fixable. It's just a matter of, execution. Like I said last week, execute and don't shoot yourself in the foot. That's what happened on Sunday. It was a failure to execute. And then on top of that, they wind up shooting themselves in the foot over and over.
They look like Don Knotts out there from Shakiest Gun in the West.
Yeah.
Is tomorrow a must-win game?
No, because there's still plenty of season left to turn it around. So, I mean,
Even though that would make it 0-3 in the division.
0-4 in the conference?
0-4. Well, yeah.
You can still make the playoffs in those positions.
Just
You
gets
got to win.
hard to do
You
it.
just got to start handling business, right?
It's up to them if they
So-
want to make it hard on themselves. That's really what it boils down to.
But they kind of like that. They kind of like it.
It's like they know that they've got to write the essay, and instead of like getting the work done early, they just start it late, right? And then you've got it. And it's not just you've got these are really good ones though. The 2019 and 2023 seasons really spoiled us because we were so. It was like they kind of got it right. Like they got off to the hot start. They got that number 1 seed. You knew how important it was, and you get spoiled with that. But, teams that win get pillaged, right? You get a lot of turnover, and there's a lot of stuff that goes through. And now, really preseason is really starting to go towards mid-October if you're starting to look at these numbers, right? So.
Well, one thing about that stat, the best that we achieved was the NFC Championship game. So when we start lousy, we do not tend to get across the threshold. So you might make it to the chapel, but you ain't getting married. So, you're there as a spectator and a guest. So that's not, to me, that's not flattering at all. Okay, so we made it to the championship game. Woo! No.
Yeah, but it could change.
I mean, it could.
Well, first of all, hold on. First of all, in 2021, we was a Jimmy G thumb injury really away from winning that thing. And not to mention Jimmy Ward and Jaguasi Tart's blunder from sealing the deal there.
Yeah.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah.
I mean, we
That
can talk
2022 graphic is completely wrong. If anyone out there knows who made this graphic, please let me know, because I am calling them the F out. That is completely wrong. It's pure propaganda. I'm not having it. But yeah. So, and 2024 is yet to be written. So, like, I don't even know who made this thing overall because it's nonsense. Like, come on, people. We got enough to deal with. We don't need the shenanigans from our own selves.
Stop it.
All right. So, Ty, what do you make of the red zone woes?
Red zone woes. Execution. Flat out
Your favorite
execution.
word. You got to make a shirt.
I gotta make an execution shirt. You're right. I'm gonna do
How do
something.
you feel about your team's execution? I'm in favor of it.
We
As
need
that Tampa Bay
the
coach said in
executor.
76.
The plays are there.
Yeah.
And it's
When in doubt, execute.
it's just not being executed by all 11 or maybe one of the 11 at the same time. Right?
Somebody's giving us the goods.
When you call a run up the A gap and your running back decides he's impatient and tries to bounce it out to the B and C, it doesn't work. Not going to happen. When you call a run play and you're like, you know what? I got my number 1 back out there. I'm going to let him run behind my 3 best run blockers. And 2 of the 3 completely whiff and get destroyed.
Yeah.
And then your running back fumbles on top of it. What is going on? And then you call some brilliant pass plays. All right, I'm dialing this up. And you call one pass play, and one guy gets wide open, and he's missed. And you call another pass play, and 2 guys get open, and nothing happens. Then you say, man, I'm going to my bread and butter. And you call a pass play, and 3 guys are open. And nothing happens. Execution. It's execution. People got to step up. The plays are there. The points are there. We're literally leave them on the field.
Yep.
Right? That's 5 plays. If we could just execute on one of those 5 plays, get a touchdown, we're feeling a little better today because the score of the game would have been different and would have been like, yeah, all right.
It
We-
should have
we-
been far
We
out
kicked
of
this
reach
thing open.
by halftime.
And you know what?
Yes,
This
no doubt.
problem has been there since week 1. And I mentioned it in week 1. week 1 should have been a blowout. That should have been a 40 or 50 burger.
So
Yes.
should this one.
But red zone woes. So they can
I mean,
correct it. They
you
just
know,
got to
I
get it
think we're
together.
29th. I read that we're 29th in the red zone.
didn't
Currently.
somebody just say that Kansas City's 30th? I think somebody just said Kansas City's 30th. I think it was David McNiner.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think I saw that we're 29th in red zone efficiency.
Sounds about right.
It does. 1 for 6 this week. So
Ugly out. It's ugly. It's
Yeah,
ugly in them red
it's
zone streets.
Let's see.
Mm-mm-mm.
The Daddy Niners. Guys, why can't we do like the Bears did back in the day when they had the refrigerator Perry? Remember what Perry did? I'm not for sure if it was a championship or a Super Bowl. Maddie, you want to take that?
It was both, I do believe.
So you want to take one of our defensive linemen that we currently don't have.
Right.
We're real thin back there.
Because we currently only have 3 healthy ones, and you want to run them into the line. So here's the deal. Okay, here's the origins of Fridge Perry.
Break it
This
down.
was
Yeah,
caused by Bill Walsh.
yeah.
In
Exactly.
the 1984 NFC title game versus the Chicago Bears, he lined Guy McIntyre up
Big guy.
as a fullback
Mhm.
and let him run ahead in the game and let Roger Craig run behind him. And this
Yep.
pissed Mike Ditka off to no end. So Mike Ditka spent the entire offseason figuring out how to do the same thing on his end, only to do it to an extremely obnoxious level. Enter, of course, William Refrigerator Perry, who is approximately 350 to 380 pounds, depending on who you know. Was the actual size of a refrigerator and probably drank more Diet Coke than any human being who has ever lived. And he became an internet sensation, and he was actually the first Super Bowl prop bet at, I believe, it's like 40 to 1 or 400 to 1, some weird number on him scoring a touchdown in the Super Bowl. And he has a touchdown in the Super Bowl, and Walter Payton does not. And it was all caused by pettiness because the Bears weren't good enough to beat the 49ers in 84. So remember, anytime anybody says anything about the 85 Bears, the 85 Bears don't exist without the 84 49ers. Never forget that. And never let anybody else forget it either.
There you go. That is a
So
fact.
Ty, what are your thoughts on the defense?
The defense is okay overall. They just need to make adjustments. I think adjustments are needed, right? There's still a deficiency in the linebacking core because, I'm drawing blank. Well, DFF is supposed to be good in pass coverage, right? And his sideline stuff, but he's not playing well there.
Yes.
Campbell is supposed to be the run stopper, but he's not playing good there. So
He's
like
garbage.
it's like what can you do? It's like
So
I'm
bad.
putting you in position to do the one thing you do well, and you're not doing it well.
Not doing it.
There's a
Yeah.
problem there, right? But you can offset that, put some different guys in, change some things up. So I think those adjustments need to be made on the D line. When they started running the ball, I'm like, where's the 5-man front? Like, get beefier. They're coming out in 2 tight end sets, letting you know we're gonna try to run the ball here. Counter that. It wasn't until the final drive where Sorensen went to that 5-man defensive line, which we saw started last year and it worked well last year, that he actually stopped the run. That's when they stopped the run, got it to a 3 and out. It was like, okay, but it's too little, too late. We need that earlier on. So
A lot of the
adjustments
tackles
need to be
too.
made. Oh yeah, but that's par for the course. And Fred's on one leg. I don't care what anyone says. He
I
looks
was
good
just
moving, but
saying,
he
he's missing
doesn't
Yeah, you
look
can
like
tell.
himself. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can tell he's not like himself,
Yes.
but he's being the gritty, competitor that he is out there giving it his all.
Yeah, he
Definitely
hasn't looked
doesn't
the
do
same since he hit his leg against got hit against Jefferson there when they collided. There's been
Mhm.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
So
there's
Tony
something
says
happened.
that he's over this scheme. They need a new scheme next season because teams know how to attack them.
Tony, Kyle knows that this team needed something different defensively this offseason based on, what he did. Trying to go after Belichick in the offseason to hire him as a defensive coordinator, getting Staley to come in and kind of oversight it or whatever. Like he wants somebody to come in and kind of do that. I mentioned in the group chat this week, and I'm really excited about this. I've been holding on to this one since the group chat the other day. As soon as Robert Saleh got fired from the Jets, I immediately said he should be on a plane to San Jose so that he can come in and consult for this defense. I do not want him to come in and be the defensive coordinator or anything like that. But a couple of weeks or so, I'd really like to see him kind of bring in some fresh ideas, maybe, fix some things, because I thought this defense was a little better when he was the defensive coordinator. I thought it was better with him and with D'Amico. I don't think they've really gotten back to that edge part since, for whatever reason.
I mean, we
Coaching
had a rough
players,
start with D'Amico,
combo
right?
players.
I do recall when D'Amico took over.
But Ty said,
"Hello." Well, sorry.
No, you're good. I wasn't sure if it was me or not. I was like, oh no. But Ty had said that wasn't his area of expertise. So I don't know. Maybe it's the too many cooks in the kitchen things. But like I saw the Patriots do well with that, getting guys. I'm not either, but I've seen guys come back and sometimes things get fixed. Now, sometimes that may mean that somebody that isn't really doing a very good job gets kind of cast off to the side. And I'm okay with that because that's not really my problem. I don't care about hurt feelings. Right. I care about won Super Bowls. So, those were my thoughts on that.
And I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, even the linebacker core, while they're great, that was Robert Saleh's thing. But even that, everywhere he went to the Jets, their defense is playing here, where it was playing somewhere, far below that level. So clearly he's good at elevating defenses. And when he left, we had a slow start with D'Amico Ryans, but D'Amico turned it around. But I do think he could come in and add value. I mean, you can't have turnover happen like we've had and not have some loss of fidelity with what we had there, right? Like if he came back, he could reinstate some fundamentals that we were running that had us as a top tier defense. We look like, I don't know, a hot mess express out there on the field this past week. Some great plays, and then just like, how do we let Connor come in the fourth quarter after we controlled the ball all game and run it all over us? So I don't know what's going on with the defense, but we didn't make any adjustments for a lot of things there that happened in the fourth quarter. And I don't know. I agree with you, Matt. I would like to see Robert Saleh in some capacity, whether he's
clear it up. Hold up, Jeff. I was going to say something. I said about Saleh, bringing in Saleh. I said his area of expertise is not the team's problem, not their number one problem.
Right.
When your team is only scoring one offensive touchdown, you're bringing in a defensive guy. Okay, maybe you're asking your defense to score 2 touchdowns. All right. Let's not forget we were all happy last week with the win against the Patriots. Who scored first? Who scored a touchdown first?
Yeah.
Was the defense.
Yeah.
How many touchdowns did the offense get? 2?
Robert Saleh doesn't fix the offense. My thought is, I think my thought is, in a little bit of that is, I kind of almost wonder, like, I think he trusts Sorensen to a point, but it's almost like, it's like they hired Sorensen to be like, he was going to manage the produce department, right? And now he's managing the whole store. And they also brought in, an assistant department manager because another store closed, and they were able to kind of bring him in to oversee it, right? But I still don't think Kyle fully trusts everything over on that side, because I think he's just kind of a control freak. And I think if you had like a Robert Saleh over there, I think he'd trust it, maybe leave it alone. And then maybe he would be able to focus on this offense and get this thing straight. Because I honestly think that might be part of the problem. Like, I think he's trying to do all of it because he's feeling the pressure. So that was my thought on that. But I can totally see, like, that totally makes sense. I don't think Robert Saleh comes in here and fixes anything. Also, Rob D, just in case. Nope, that was me. I'm here. Okay, good. If he does come here as a consultant, like, the Jets can't really do anything about that. Like, they
Right.
can't do it. Like, that's whatever. Now, if he comes back and coaches, they don't have to stop paying him. I think there's usually like an offset in those scenarios where, like, whatever he makes gets taken out of what he gets. So
Yeah.
he's not going to miss out on anything. But if he comes back and consults just to hang out, he can send the 49ers a 10. He can send them an invoice, and they can send him a 1099. The 40.
Right.
The Patriots did that with
Exactly.
McDaniels one year.
Keep
After
track of
McDaniels
your
got let go
hours.
by, I want to say it was St. Louis. So it's happened before.
Well,
Spagnuolo's done that too.
after last season, Kyle did inquire about Spagnuolo
Mm-hmm.
or Spagnolo, and
Yeah, Spagnuolo.
What does that
that's
tell
when
you?
they that's
You know
when
what I
they
mean?
extended.
What does
Right,
that
that's
tell
when
you?
the
He knows
Chiefs
that there
extended
needs
him.
to be another level that needs to be unlocked with this defense for them to get to where they want to be.
Exactly. He went after Bill Belichick. He went after Spagnuolo. So he knows what we've got is not the top tier product to put the best defense. And Tony made a great point. This defense can't hardly get another team off the field on their own. They have to chuck a ball and do something, drop a pass in many cases where the play doesn't execute well on their side. It's not because our defense is forcing that. And sometimes it's just dumb luck that we're getting off the field so far. And I think the defense is it always feels like when they're playing well, the offense comes out and they play well. But we've talked about it already, the holdouts and Brandon Ayuk having to get his preseason in the first 4 weeks of the game, the season, and Trent Williams needing to get back in football shape and missing Christian McCaffrey and those types of things. So the offense is struggling, but I think for different reasons, not necessarily poor coaching or the absence of great plays. It's execution of what's being asked because people aren't in football shape. But I think with the defense, we know, I think we have a coaching deficit there. That's just not going to be able to coach these guys up to the level that we're used to.
So, do you guys think that Kyle needs to hire an OC? Or give more responsibility to, the name escapes me. I feel like Ty.
Yeah.
Welcome to my world.
What is his name?
Brandon Staley? What are
No.
you talking about?
It's not Byron
Kyle-
Schneider. I know that.
No. Who's the one that who called the plays in the preseason?
Oh,
Kubiak?
Yes.
Bob from accounting.
Like,
I think Kubiak, yes.
yeah. No.
I'm not worried. I don't want anybody else calling offensive plays for this team.
Exactly.
Kyle is the offensive genius. He should be calling plays.
But okay. People coming at me on Twitter Sunday night
At you? What do you have to do
Saying-
with this, Jess?
What?
that Kyle Shanahan should be fired.
Oh,
Are people on actual drugs? Like,
And what I have to
legitimately?
say-
isn't that par for the course?
Yeah.
And what I have to say is you could shut the hell up.
What- who do you
Because-
want to get?
Who
Who
is
do
going
you
to
want to
replace
get?
him? If you don't have a solution as to who is going to replace him, that is the most idiotic statement that you could actually make.
Yeah.
I feel like
So-
James Conner had 86 yards in the second half.
Get your
though,
get your
Penny. That
feelings
was the
aside.
problem.
Put your feelings aside because some people are also stuck in the Jim Harbaugh era as well. Put your feelings aside and realize that Kyle Shanahan is the best chance
Yeah.
for this team.
Yeah.
I mean, statistically, look at what he's done. Even with the slow starts, we went to NFC championships. We've been to multiple Super Bowls. Every year we're in it. We are up here and we are in the hunt every single time. So I don't know what you replace that with. A guy that's giving you a chance every season to be right in it, in the thick of it, or oh, it's a rebuild year. We're going to need a few seasons to get back on track. No, we don't want that.
You've got to be kidding me, Steve-O.
Rex Ryan, Jason Garrett. Stop it, Steve-O.
Yeah.
David, to go back to David's comment, can you bring up David McNiner's comment, please? Not that one, the other one.
It's fine.
Okay. That goes back to the fact that I'm telling you, he's spending way too much time on the defense. Even if he's spending like 20 minutes on the defense, like it's 10 minutes more than he needs to be spending, right?
It's execution, man.
Yeah.
It's an execution thing.
It's partly execution.
It's execution.
Sure.
I mean, he's just now got his whole team together to practice. You know?
Yep.
So, I mean, and it showed with Ayuk. Ayuk finally looked like a football player this week.
This week,
Like
right?
Like
He
he
always
looked
looked like one to me.
Yeah,
And I
but
said it.
like his level of football player
Holla at me,
definitely
BA.
popped up this week.
Look, we all love it in BA.
Ty Alston is
You know, in
definitely
the
the
second
leader
half
of the BA fan club.
Of this game, we got the ball to the 18-yard line and the 8-yard line.
And we
And got
scored no
them.
points.
Nothing.
0. So
Zero.
all this talking about the defense and the defense. If we score one freaking field goal, we win the game. Do something. Offense, do something. Do something. Show me something.
They also missed CMC. Steve-O makes a great point. We got
Well-
how many times did we say last year that we are way too reliant on Christian McCaffrey?
All
right?
the time.
Like it
Right.
was
You know what? I get it. Okay.
I feel like there's a lot of lean on with that.
You know what? We had a lot of success last year because of Christian McCaffrey. I get it. Okay. But we also need to realize that like he is not on the field right now.
Yeah.
We gotta let
We
it go.
have other playmakers around that can get it done.
That used to get it done
And that has
before he
to be a
got here, by
reality.
the way.
No.
Yeah.
If we stick with what Maddie said earlier, we don't even know if he's going to be back this season.
May not
Let's
be
say
back
he's
at
not going to be
all.
back this season. Okay. Then what? Use
Yeah.
your players.
We're just going to keep trucking through this. Yeah,
They
I
gotta
don't think
step
that's gonna
up.
Work. Yeah,
We always talk about next man up, next man up. Rebecca, say it with me. Next man
Next
up.
man up.
Next man up, gotta step up.
And look what he's
Oh,
done.
right?
Kenny, I promise
look,
you, we were
JP
not
Mason
surprised.
has
We're in no way
balled out.
surprised. We're just disgusted. That's all. Kenny
I
had a
mean,
good comment in there. Sorry. Yeah, that one right there. He said, yeah. Well, no, we're
Yeah,
not
he already
surprised.
talked
We're
about
just
that. Yeah,
disgusted.
yeah.
Yeah.
we were worried about this
Just-
game. Somebody posted last week and we were going to have a blowout of 35-7, and Jess and I were like, no, I don't think
Something
so.
about Arizona games on alumni weekend that just go horribly
It don't-
wrong
it don't
every
mix.
time. I don't know why. Stop.
And I,
stop
you know
doing-
what? And I was nervous
it.
about the game too. But I
You
will
were
say
too.
this.
You called it
I
last
will
week.
say, and we're going to talk about Seattle, okay? But I will say this: I am not nervous about tomorrow because I think we're going to kick ass and take names tomorrow.
Yeah.
But there is a quote that bothered me, and it was a quote from
was?
Nick Bosa.
Mm-hmm. Slick Nick.
He said, in all the losses, now I'm kind of paraphrasing, but in all the losses, preparation has been great, but the teams are playing them differently than what we see on tape, and we need to adjust better. Now I'm going to go with Bonte Hill and say, Nick, how about you adjust and get to the quarterback?
Bingo. And Bingo was his name. Oh,
I never
That
remember
bothered me.
Reggie White going to the press and saying, "We need a better plan. He just hit people, so just do that, Nick, and shut the hell up now." Thank
Maddie
you.
so gets me.
My God.
Ah,
So
Okay.
we want the players to defy what's being said and told to do and run with their instincts.
Just
Okay.
attack the quarterback. Do your job.
Football, man. Like,
it's the
Ah.
basics of football. And if you see it happening, oh, they're playing this differently, you adjust.
Then
You
look, I'm not
adjust.
saying no. I'm just saying I think that was a little bit of shade he was throwing at the current
Yeah. Oh yeah.
current coaching.
Yeah, I can see
agree.
that. I can see
There was
that. But at
definitely
the
some
same
shade in that.
time, you're
But, like-
you're a leader in this. You're a leader in this locker room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
step
But he's
up.
a guy.
and
do something about it.
He gets to pick where he lines up on the line, right? He has full autonomy to do that. Hey, I'm going to line up on the left side this play, or I want to be on the right side. You know what? Let me do a little muddle rush from the middle. He can do all those things. So if he can do that, how about you go to your defensive coordinator? Hey, this is what they're doing out there. What you think we should do? Like, or give your feedback, or like you pull Fred over. This is what team captains are supposed to do.
this is what's
Hey,
been successful when
we-
they pull this. Yeah.
Exactly. We prepare for 21 personnel, but they're coming out in 22. We need to switch up a little bit.
They're disguising it like this, but
You
it's
don't
really
you don't
that.
just come out after the game and be like, oh man, they played us different. So we just went with it. Who does that?
You know what Chris Jones does for Kansas City? I heard this week, and it sounds like the simplest
Beat us.
thing. Yeah, it's so genius. Well, outside of that, okay. But do you know why he
Damn
beats
him.
us, Ty? Do you know why he beats us? And keep an eye on this because we're going to play a little game next week.
Uh-oh.
Chris
Break it down.
Jones always chooses to line up against the weakest member of the
Yes.
offensive line on
Mhm.
any given play.
He chooses the weakest link for sure.
Every
Oh,
time.
the weakest link.
And he
Bye.
and who gives him that freedom? Oh, a guy by the name of Steve Spagnuolo, who has
Mhm.
won a couple of Super Bowls as a defensive
yeah.
coordinator, 4, I believe. So yeah. Why can't you utilize Nick Bosa like Chris Jones? Why isn't that being done? Why isn't he being utilized like Aaron Donald was? Like,
Yeah.
he's paid to do as such. So if you want to be paid that money, you need to be able to do those things. So, yeah, to me, like, he threw shade there on his coaches, but it feels like to me he also threw shade on himself, as just aptly pointed out.
Yeah.
Would you
Yes.
trade Nick
But-
Bosa for
In a
TJ
second,
Watt?
him or Max Crosby, either one of them. Either one of them.
TJ Watt is different. He got that.
TJ
motor.
Watt is on
Right.
another level.
Yeah,
Ooh.
he's definitely
Oh
different.
boy.
To me,
Yeah.
him and Crosby are like in that tier, and if Nick Bosa was at that tier, we would have probably won one of those Super Bowls. Because those two are getting held all the time too, and guess what? They're still getting sacks.
They still wind up getting home.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So in the silver the silver lining of it all was Brandon Ayuk.
100%.
BA had himself a day.
He had the day we were
hitch
hoping.
my wagon to that
expecting.
star. Yes.
Yeah.
He had
That's
himself a day.
And I think, tomorrow, I think he has a big game as well. I think now, the rust is off. I think we're getting there. We're, it would have been nice to see him in the end zone.
Yeah.
But I think tomorrow we right the ship.
Kittle with a touchdown tomorrow. You can book that. I don't know what the odds are. Like, you want to
Listen.
do first touchdown or you want to do any time. I don't care. George Kittle against the Seahawks is like, I don't know what to tell you guys. I can't do
They
any
can't
more.
guard us, right?
No.
We've seen this over the years.
They can't guard any
our
tight
Ayuk.
end, and we have the
They
best
can't
one in the
guard
league
Kittle
right
at
now.
all. Exactly. They've never been able to guard Kittle.
Kittle
And
is the best tight end
They
in the
don't
league
want to
right now.
tackle Debo. So, like, everybody should be utilized equally. Give them a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
this, a little bit of that, a little taste of this. And
Run the
just kill them
ball.
all game. Run the ball.
Detroit showed you how to
Kill
beat
'em
them a
all
couple
game.
weeks ago. Just
Yeah.
follow the
Giants showed you how to beat
Detroit
'em.
blueprint. Stop being
Mhm.
cute. Brock doesn't need to come out and like be 1983 Joe Montana. Like,
Right.
no, just run the damn ball.
Yeah.
Detroit showed you how to beat them a couple weeks ago.
And just like we said earlier, we're all for Brock extending the plays, but get rid of the ball.
Don't bail so quick. Don't bail so quick.
Yes, that's another thing. I
Yeah,
agree
there's a
with
lot
that.
of getting out of the pocket right now.
Well, I think that's also the offensive line not helping him out either. Like it's going quick. It's
Some is
the
on
wall's
him, too.
collapsing a little too quickly, and he's forced to scramble. And luckily, he's been able to dodge a lot of those bullets and sometimes make things. Other times, just it's too much scramble and yeah.
Hi, Becca. What is your game plan to beat Seattle?
Well, we definitely have to stop the run. I mean, we cannot let them do what we let the Cardinals do in the fourth quarter. They've got, Charbonnet and Walker, and they're going to try it. They just saw the Cardinals come back and beat us with the run game in fourth quarter and take that away from us. So I think they're going to really come out and try heavily to run the ball, and we have to shut that down, and we have to maintain that. And I think that's a big part of it. Execution is certainly the missed tackles. You got to wrap it up. If you're Fred Warner and you got your hand on the guy, that guy needs to hit the ground. You cannot let him slide past you. Just too many of those things. I mean, Mooney Ward got burned so many times, and I feeling like he's hurt too and playing hurt.
Yeah,
because he's not.
This would be year 3 of 3 that has happened. So I would probably expect that because I believe he's played with sports hernia, and what the hell was the other one he played with? Was it a groin or something? Hamstring?
Yeah.
But they're gonna take shots at all the weakness that we've shown, and hopefully we can just execute better and get some guys down and not let them get these big plays, these big splashy plays. The penalty game was much improved, I thought, this week. We didn't have a ton of penalties. It didn't seem like there was a few, but nothing like the week prior. So I think, we have to execute well, score in the damn red zone, for God's sakes. If you get in the red zone, score touchdowns. Come on.
It's last week when the defense finally got off the field, I was kind of like, oh my God, they got off the field. And now it's like with the red zone, when the Niners are in the red zone, just score a touchdown. Please just score a touchdown.
Yeah. I hopefully, that's really, to me, that's it. You got to keep pressure on Geno because he folds a lot easier. He doesn't have the legs of Kyler. So, but
yeah. Maddie, game plan against Seattle, go.
Run the ball, throw the ball to the tight end, don't turn the ball over, sack the quarterback. That's it. That's all we got. Control the time of possession. I think that the short week is really a big deal for them. I think I'm not normally a big proponent of the Thursday night games by any means. I don't like that quick turnaround. But after that game, I think that was one of those games where, if you had taken all the players aside afterwards and said, hey, you can play another 4 quarters tomorrow. Do you guys want to do that? I think they would all vote yes. Right? Because they just want to get it. They want to get the taste of that game out of their mouth as soon as possible. So this is a huge opportunity for them to go up, get a huge division win on the road, get a huge conference win on the road, and get themselves right before their measuring stick game. Because the next game's a measuring stick game. You beat 2 AFC teams already, the Little Sisters of the Poor, okay? Now you're going to have a measuring stick game to see really where you're at, whether CMC's back or not. So, and you can see how far you have come since last year and how far you've got to go, right? And then you get Dallas coming in the next week, and they just hate us. So,
yes. Ty?
The formula is to finish. Just finish. That's all you got to do. Finish. And you're setting yourself up for success. If they would have finished, just to take Sunday for example, if they would have finished on Sunday, the halftime score would have been 28-10. You come out, you force a 3 and out. You get the ball. You get even take away the ifs. And you have the score of what it is, 23-10. What was it? 18-10? I can't do math right now.
It was 23-10.
I can't do math.
23-10 at halftime. Yeah. 23-10 at halftime.
Math sucks.
Math numbers are hard. You force a 3 and out. You get the ball. you can take control of the game and you do nothing with it. You didn't finish. You just got to finish. They're capable of doing so. They're capable of taking control and putting these teams to bed early. And then they can live by the formula. Everybody's harping on the defense. The defense can live by their formula, stop the run and have some fun. They did that in the first half. The defense executed. They did that in the first half, except for Kyler's run. He burnt them. Shout out to him because it was sweet. It was sweet yet cringy to look at. Like this effort threw up his hand at the 50. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's 4 quarterbacks in the league that could probably do that right now, and he just happens to be one of them.
He's
right?
one of
that
them,
was
right.
just one of those F.
He got us. He got us. But other than that, they were stopping James Conner. They did their thing. When the offense is not scoring and constantly giving the ball back, you wear down. You got to finish. And I think they'll do that. Like, once again, that team cannot stop us. So don't stop yourself. Finish.
I think we have to get back to 49ers football. We have to get back to playing bully ball. We haven't been doing that. And I think it's vital for, starting tomorrow and what we have coming.
Good call, Steve.
X factors.
I like it. I'm taking that guy right there.
Yep.
They have no one that can guard him.
And never have.
And never
ever have. Even when they were in their bag of bags.
Mm-hmm. Nobody. And when they see him running in the open field, they don't like to tackle him. He's big and fast.
That's true.
It's like
he's like a running offensive lineman. By the way, George Kittle is plus 950 to score the first touchdown tomorrow night.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I have him as an anytime scorer.
Now, hold on. If I bet one of my, many Washingtons that I have on him, what's my return on that?
That would be $950, my friend. If that.
Oh, that's easy math. I told you math is hard. Oh, I might have to.
And there's
put
usually
down
one game
2 Washingtons
every year
on them.
Yeah. You might want to
Big
do that.
spender.
The only year that
now.
Kittle hasn't scored first touchdown, I think, in the last couple of years was the year that Travis Homer got it on that fake punt.
Oh, that fucking year.
That game still burns in my memory.
Another game.
Yeah, I took
should have blown them out. Let them off the hook.
Completely.
I took Jordan Mason, Brandon Ayuk, and George Kittle for anytime touchdown scorers.
Oh yeah, I mean I think Jordan Mason and Kittle and I think Debo too will have a great game in Seattle.
Yeah, you know what? It sounds like it would make sense for Brandon Ayuk to have another big game, but we know how this offense works. He had his big game last week. You have to wait another couple of weeks.
Gonna be
I need him to score a touchdown.
I agree with I know. But yeah, that's kind of how I play them when I play like DFS or anything like that. It's like a hot potato. I know that Kittle will get his points, but I know another guy's not going to get his points. So they're a really tough team to like nail down because they have so many weapons. It could be Jawan Jennings.
Yeah,
Jawan Jennings has put up one of the biggest numbers of any receiver, I think, this year. I think he actually has put up the biggest, like it was like 46 or something like that. Yeah. That's a crazy ass number. So, and he's their third receiver. So you never quite know where it's going to come from. And without CMC there, like, yeah, they funnel a lot of it to Mason, but they still don't trust Mason. And one thing I've heard a lot this week from guys who really know the game and watch a lot of tape, and girls who watch a lot of tape too, a lot of these runs that Mason has are great. But if someone else was running them, I'm not going to name his name because I'm afraid Jess will throw something at me from New Jersey. Those runs might be about 30 to 50 yards longer. So,
yes. And his backup, Mason's backup, has been missing a lot of the assignments on where to run, kind of freelancing, not being patient enough, and that has hurt us.
Yes.
So, like,
and it's
Rebecca
like
always says, next man up. Yeah, next man up. Next man up. He's got to be. He did hit a few the other day on Sunday, which is good, but he missed a few in the red zone.
Yeah.
He's in
We
that
needed it
Raheem
the most.
Mostert development pattern right now.
Yeah,
Doesn't he
that's
remind you
exactly
Raheem
true.
Mostert
That's
a little
exactly
bit?
true. Yep.
Like kind of 2019, that same sort of.
Yeah.
It took
Yeah.
him a while to figure it out with his talent and this system, and I think that's what he's going through right now. And he's not having to do it from another team; he's doing it right from college. So hopefully he figures it out. But
Yeah.
good call, Ty. Good call.
Yeah.
All right. So before we close out, let's do some X factors. Ty, who do you got?
Yeah, I'm going with George. They usually try to take away a receiver, right? They usually, all right, we're not going to let this guy beat us, whichever one it is. But it's a pick your poison offense. The one they've never been able to take away is George Kittle. I mean, he's just
Sure.
too big, too fast. He's my guy. He's the X factor. I think you get some George Kittle over the middle. Get him on the sideline, get him up the seam, wherever. Run a screen for him. Just get the ball in his hands. Because what a smart person has this saying. Something about good things.
Something about his hands.
What it is.
What about George Kittle's hands and the ball?
Good
Right?
things
Get the
happen
Kittle to
when
the ball.
is in George Kittle's
there it
hands.
is.
Oh,
Yes.
that.
Oh,
Thank
yes,
you.
yes,
that
yes.
one.
Thanks
that
for the
one, yeah.
reminder.
Yeah.
Right
Whew.
there. That.
Yeah. That's the one.
Whatever
Yeah.
direction that
Mhm.
is. Whatever she said.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's true. It's 100% true.
Yeah.
My X factor is going to be Brandon
LOL,
Ayuk.
Kenny.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was just reading something. Mine's Brandon Ayuk. I know I said last week, that he was going to really come into his own with Arizona, and I think he actually gets in the end zone this time. He needs to get into the end zone because I placed a bet on him. But besides that, I just think that he's definitely the X factor. Becca?
Remember,
Well,
only
if
bet
you
what
took
you can lose,
Brandon
kids.
Ayuk, I'll take Jawan Jennings, because if they try to shut down Brandon Ayuk or Debo, then we still have JJ. He's always out there available, as he'll tell you. If you've got nothing else, you got JJ. So I'll take JJ.
Laddie?
Nick Bosa. If he can be kicking Geno Smith's ass
Yeah.
all night, then we win. If he is just getting held and worried about getting held and nothing else is happening, then the Seahawks will
I'm
win.
worried about other people making adjustments and not
Or worried
himself. I don't know.
about other people making
Mhm.
adjustment. Maybe his mom can help make the adjustment for him. I'm not really sure. But like whatever needs to be done needs to get done. But like at the end of the day, there's a level that he needs to get to for this team to win a Super Bowl. It's that Chris Jones, Max Crosby, TJ Watt level. And if he does not get there, I don't know if this team will win that Super Bowl, because they need him to be the star of that defense. Fred Warner needs to be the captain. Nick Bosa needs to be the star. This is an offense he can be the star against.
Get there, rattle Geno.
Yeah.
100%.
Things will happen.
Absolutely. All right,
Yeah.
let's go to that 2-minute warning. Go ahead, Becca.
We already said it. Happy birthday, Georgie. Shout out to Debo for donating to hurricane relief in South Carolina. Welcome back, Brandon Ayuk. You had the day we all were hoping you would have last week, and we need to see more of that. We just need to play some good football, close the deal, execute in the red zone, please, 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 and take this win. We need it. Go Niners.
Let's get this dub tomorrow night. Like Becca said, we need it. It's definitely a must-win game. Let's right the ship. Happy birthday, George, again. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys were great. Tune in next week. We are back. And as always, go Niners. Ty?
Yeah, I changed my mind. It is a must-win game because it's the Seahawks, the She-Hawks, the She-Rattles, whatever your name is for them. That's who they are. We got to
The
beat
shit
them.
chickens.
Yeah, them too. Like, just beat them. And I don't care how you beat them. I mean, if you could hang 50 on them, 50 to zip, that'd be great. But just beat them. Let them know that still our division. Screw that. Go Niners.
Yeah.
Maddie.
Run the ball. 49er football. Run the ball, play defense, throw to your tight end in the pass game. That's it. That's all you got to do. You win this game, you go get some time off, and then you can plan that regular season revenge game that you probably wanted to do a couple of years ago. Also, someone, for the love of God, get the Cowboys tickets so that they're not purchased by a Cowboys fan. Please, NinersNE.
Red
And
alert.
where can they go to purchase them?
NinersNE.com with the number 9 right below me.
And
There
don't
you go.
forget to get your Faithful gear at faithfulgear209.com. And we will see you next week. Go Niners. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. That was a horrible
Let's go.
imitation
Let's
of me playing defense, by the way. I don't know what that was. That was like McGlinchey air, but I will adjust like the 49ers did.
Wait. You're going to make it halftime adjustments here? Fourth
That's
quarter
right.
is
I will-
Course for the upstart 49ers. They're 6 yards away from Pontiac. 3rd and 3.
We'll see a pickup sometime on the right side, possibly.
Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. Caught it! Dwight Clark!
That's how you adjust.
That's right.
Have a good night, everybody.